In this lesson, we're going to take a look at mood, and later we're going to compare it to tone. A lot of times people get mood and tone mixed up, so let's go ahead and start with what mood is. So just follow along with me here and we'll go pretty quickly. When you're talking about the mood, you're talking about the feelings and emotions that make the reader feel things like they feel fear, they feel excitement, they feel regret, they feel sad, concern, worry, hope, etc. So we're talking about the feeling that the writer wants to make us as the reader feel. So the language used in a story, the language used when you're reading something, like meaning the words, that's what gives us the mood of the story. So we often talk about stories in terms of settings and characters and the actions and the plot, but the way it all makes us actually feel is the mood. So mood is not the way anyone in the story feels. It's not the way the characters feel. It's the way that we as the reader feel when we're reading the story. So think about a movie, think about a TV show or a video that you're watching. You can feel totally creeped out, right? Maybe that's the mood. It's a creepy mood. But perhaps the characters in the story, the characters in the movie don't feel that way, right? Like they don't know what's happening. They don't know what's going on. And you're watching the movie, you're watching the video or the TV show, and you feel creepy because that's the feeling that the creator is wanting to put in you. Well, it's the same thing in a book. The mood is the way that you as the reader feel. So here are some words that can describe mood. Okay, so these are just examples. You can think of others, but you can have like a cheerful mood. You can feel relieved. You can feel kind of gloomy or uncertain. You can feel worried, or you can feel cozy. You can feel relaxed, hopeful. Maybe you're hopeless. Maybe you're feeling kind of tense and awkward. Maybe you're feeling angry. Maybe the mood is disappointing. Maybe it's a satisfying mood. Maybe it's inspiring, confident. Maybe it's kind of eerie or strange or uncomfortable. But it's the way the writer uses words to get you as the reader to feel. So sometimes it's easier to think about mood when we see it in pictures. So you can go to Google, you can go to Pinterest, you can go anywhere you want online and find images, photographs that create a certain mood. So I'm going to show you some images now, and I want you to think of a mood that describes what you feel about the image. There's not always one right or one wrong answer because it's a feeling and feelings are complicated. All right, so we're also going to look at how to support your feeling with specific details from the image. Okay, here we go. We're going to use a couple of sentences to practice talking about the mood of each image. So we can say this: the mood of the image is blank. Okay, so maybe the mood of the image is creepy. The mood of the image is exciting. The mood of the image is inspiring. And then you're going to give some details that convey that mood. Convey means to show. So what about the image shows that mood? What proves it? What conveys it? All right, here we go. The mood of the image is, and the blank conveys this mood. So here's how this could work. You're looking at this picture, and we all look at it from different perspectives. We all have our own unique ideas, but check this out. You might say, the mood of the image is inspiring. The bright orange leaves and sunlight convey this mood. Okay? So if you thought of a different word besides inspiring, if a different word came to mind when you saw this picture, does that mean you're wrong? No, it doesn't. Of course not. We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of words in the English language. There are certainly more words that you could use to describe the mood of this picture besides inspiring. This is just an example. And then what evidence did we use to support that this is an inspiring image? Well, we used the words bright, orange leaves, and sunlight. How about this one though? Same picture, and someone else has a very different take on it. The mood of the image is eerie. The dark, wet road conveys this mood. Okay, so this person thinks it's kind of a creepy, eerie image. They see the dark, wet road as strange and eerie, but this person saw the exact same image as inspiring. They didn't look at the dark, wet road. They looked at the bright orange leaves and sunlight. So it's possible to have your own opinion and be correct, especially when you have the right details to support your opinion. Let's do another one. The mood of the image here is what? And what about it conveys that mood? The mood of this image is what? What conveys the mood? What shows the mood? So what do you do when you're writing and you have to show the mood? This is where it comes down to, okay, how are you going to make the reader feel worried? Or how are you going to make the reader feel relieved? How are you going to make the reader feel excited? Or how are you going to make the reader feel frightened? Yes, I have to get my tires changed in 30 minutes, as this just popped up on my device. So this is what writers have to think about. They have to think about what words, what situations, what details are they going to use to get the reader to feel what the writer wants the reader to feel. Words are powerful. You can make people feel certain things by using words in certain ways. Okay, so let's talk about how writers create mood using words. All right, so we've already used these sentence pieces, right? The mood of the selection is blank. What details convey the mood? So you could think, well, I mean, are we thinking about the setting? Are we looking at the atmosphere, the descriptions, the dialogue? Is there imagery? What is it that the author is using to create a certain mood? Like, how is the author describing the setting? How does the author have the characters speaking? How is the author, describing something? What kind of images is the author using to help us picture what's going on? So that's how writers create mood using words. So let's read this example together. Okay, we're thinking about the mood. The mood of the selection is what? Here we go. Roberto slammed the door with force and leaned against it, breathing hard. The escape was narrow. He had just made it, barely. He slowly whispered, "I can't wait," to no one in particular. There was no one there, but it was still a narrow miss. He knew he wouldn't be so lucky next time. So when you read that, when you picture what's happening, what is the mood? Not how Roberto's feeling, but how we as the reader are feeling. Are we feeling anxious? Are we feeling shocked? Are we feeling surprised? Maybe shocked isn't the right word. Maybe surprised isn't the right word, but think about what this makes you as the reader feel. Okay, so here's an example. Maybe it feels suspenseful. So what about this passage makes it feel suspenseful? Well, how about the short sentences and the whispering, right? Look at those really short sentences in there. I can even highlight them for you. Okay, look at this. Now the first sentence is like a normal sentence, but look at this one. Whoops, I didn't mean to move that around. Okay. The escape was narrow. That's a short sentence. 4 words, right? Look at this one. He had just made it. 4 words, barely. 1 word. And then he did slowly whisper something. So we see a suspenseful mood. We see short sentences and whispering. Now, is there another way to describe it? Maybe you thought of the word anxious. Anxious is the word that I thought of. I thought the mood seemed anxious. Does it mean I'm wrong just because the example shows suspenseful? No, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Could I give examples here that would support my idea that I think the mood is an anxious mood? Yeah, I could definitely do that. Like, if I'm saying it's anxious, I might say, well, this part is what made me think it was anxious. It was still a narrow miss. He knew he wouldn't be so lucky next time. Because then they repeat it, they say it again up here, right? The escape was narrow. He had just made it, barely. And then down here, it's like, this is a really short passage, and look how the writer repeats himself. But it was still a narrow miss. He knew he wouldn't be so lucky next time. So to me, that's why it seems anxious to me, like just an anxious, tense mood. And so I'm right, and the person who put suspenseful here is also right. We just have different ways of looking at it. Okay. That is it for right now for mood. In the next video, I'm going to talk about tone. People get mood and tone mixed up sometimes, but I hope that this video shows you a little bit about what mood is.